Touch back from Harfield. 1-0 Burnley. Scott Harfield. He's been threatening that recently. And all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end. Oh, what a goal! What a goal from Robbie Blake! Burnley's first goal in the Premier League is something very, very special.
Wade Elliott has that change of pace and he's got away from Montgomery. It's the path of McCann and the follow-up finds the net. What a strike from Wade Elliott! A bolt from the claret and blue.
Oh, goodness me! What a goal from Patterson! If that is to be the one that takes them to Wembley, you cannot argue with that. Pure quality.
Here goes Mike Conroy. Still time for a winner, maybe. John Francis! They came to York in their thousands. They're going home as champions.
I mean, if there's any justice in the world, Burnley would surely score from this corner. Swung right in there. Ball in there. Yeah! Michael Keane! Oh, that's justice! That is justice at the Amex Stadium. Burnley are level and deserve to be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Turfcast podcast YouTube channel and, of course, podcast. More signings coming in. We've had one today announced. Joshua Cullen is coming from Anderlecht. We'll get more onto that on a different show. But it's been about 9 days since I've done one of these podcasts. I've just been a bit busy with work and the little boy, you know how it is. But around a week ago, 10 days ago, we signed Samuel Bastien from Standard Liège, of course, in Belgium. And I'm pleased to say that I'm joined again by a Belgian journalist, should I say. We had Sven on a couple of weeks ago. This time we are joined by Bob Faesen. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm all right, thank you. And you?
Yes, I'm very good, thank you. A bit warm. Don't know what it's like in Belgium today.
It's warm as well, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that it was warm in Holland today, so I presumed it'd be warm over in Belgium. I've been covering some stuff in Holland for work, but I nearly dived over and opened window as we were doing that video then, but I thought, I've seen that, I'll get in, and I can't be bothered with it. But we're not used to it over here. We don't have air conditioning like you probably do, so it's ridiculous. But yeah, Samuel Bastien, talk to me. Burnley announced him around 7 to 10 days ago. I can't remember exactly when it was. It comes as sort of like a bit of an unknown amongst Burnley fans because, of course, he's been at Standard Liège for the last few years. What sort of player is he? I believe he's a midfielder, but what's his favourite position across the midfield?
I would say number 8, dynamic midfielder, that type of guy.
Yeah.
I've talked about him before to a colleague of yours. And I also said to him as well, it's more of a player who he scores like a 6 or 7 at each aspect of the game, but he doesn't really excel at some things. He's a good presser, that he is, but it's kind of an all-round midfielder. He's versatile, he can do a lot, but I wouldn't say that he doesn't excel at one point at the game, so...
Yeah. What's he like with the ball at his feet? He says he's a presser. Is he more a type of the midfielder that's good off the ball rather than on the ball?
Technically, he's really good, actually. He's a decent passer. He can dribble. No special things or something, or really, too fancy. But yeah, he can. He's a good. He has. The youth program he followed at Anderlecht, so all the players there, they're good technical players. So he's a real decent player on the ball, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough. You've obviously seen how Vincent Company set up his Anderlecht side in Belgium over the last year. How do you think someone like Bastien comes in and suits that style?
I think he suits it rather well. The Company, didn't really get what he wanted at Anderlecht. Didn't really achieve his goal there. Also, in terms of playing style, it was difficult for him there as well because he had so many loan players. Financially, it was difficult. And I think a player like Bastien is, pretty good fit for him as well because, like I said, versatile, good presser, good passer. So, I'd say he's a good fit, and also he's from Congolese descent, like Company. There's a link there. I think they have a lot of mutual friends as well. So looks to me like a good fit.
Yeah, happy days, happy days. Just on the Vincent Company style of play, we've obviously had Sven on to talk about that about 2 weeks ago. But what's your sort of aspect? What's your take on the Vincent Company style of play? Do you rate it? Is it sort of like free flowing attacking, or is it more possession, slow, but sort of base build up sort of play?
Yeah, it's more difficult for me to talk about because I haven't seen that much of Malek last season. But the games I saw, it was more slow, very very organized, very Pep-like, I'd say. But then he didn't have the quality of players that Pep has quite some distance. So I think he aims to play like Pep, but to work with the quality you got. So.
Yeah. It's obviously it's going to be difficult to play like Pepper, especially in the Championship. But
Yeah,
staying with
I don't know.
Bastien, sorry, go on.
How do you rate that? Because it seems difficult to me to.
Yeah, well, it brings me nicely into my next question, because I was gonna the Championship's a tough league. Like it's Saturday, Tuesday. Not only that, you're playing against big physical players, more so than the Premier League. You got players that are coming, they'll put some studs on you, they'll throw some studs in. They don't think twice about hurting you. Does someone like Samuel Bastien come in? Do you think he can handle that side of his game, or because I've looked at his injury list, he doesn't seem to have a long flowing injury list. He doesn't seem to have missed too many games over the last few years. So do you think he can handle the Championship?
I think he can. Yeah, I think he can. He's not like a soft player or anything. He can handle himself. I wouldn't say he's the most physical player, but he can manage himself. I think in that league.
Yeah,
because I think someone like Malek, who was linked to Burnley as well, would have more troubles with Championship football, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough. You mentioned him there, actually. I was going to pick your brains on that because, of course, he's also from Standard Liège. I was talking to Sven a bit on WhatsApp as the moves was potentially happening. Obviously, one did happen, one didn't. Why do you think we missed out on Malek then and managed to get Bastien over the line, but Malek has decided to go to, I think it was Besiktas in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. He signed for Besiktas a few days ago. Well, at a certain point, the deal for both players was on. Then some stories from Turkey were coming to us from that the player doesn't want to go to Burnley. He prefers Besiktas. At Standard, they didn't really give me one reason. There were numerous reasons. There was some talk about him not him failing for his medical, for example. I haven't got that verified, but I think also I'm not that sure if his work permit would be that easy because Bastien is a Belgian. He has a Belgian passport as well. Malek doesn't. Maybe he himself didn't want to go. So I can't give you one reason, but I think there's some more. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It's interesting to mention the work permit thing though, because apparently there was a hold up with the company announcement with the work permit. So that we have had issues with work permits recently and in the past as well when we tried to sign a Macedonian lad back in the early 2000s. On Bastien as well, I've seen rumours that West Ham were interested in him a few seasons ago and made an actual bid for him. Liverpool were watching him. It seems like because they were bidding big money for him, weren't it? Like several millions of pounds, and in the end, we've got him for around 600k. So why is that? Has he gone off the boil a little bit, or is he? Because I looked at his injury list, expected to see big injuries after I saw that, but it doesn't seem to have too many injuries on the transfer market injury list anyway. So how come the value has dropped significantly, and how come the injury in Bastien has dropped significantly?
Well, to start with the West Ham bid, I have serious doubts that they were willing to pay that amount because a club like Standard is having financial problems for quite some time now. They had to take over this summer, but the period before that was really difficult for them. So I can't really see them refusing I think it was £12 million or something that was written by certain media. So I have some doubts about that. Maybe they were interested, but I don't know. He had his best period back then, so it could be true, but I don't know. I have my doubts. Liverpool was quite early in his career. I think he was 19 or something when he was at Kievo. He talked about that actually, and yeah, it was true. But he preferred Standard because he had some playing time there. I think Everton was interested in him as well. Yeah, but he just wanted to go back to his roots. He had some unfinished business at Standard because he left the club at a young age for Anderlecht, big rivals. It's a move you see a lot in Belgium, youth players going around to all the major clubs. Bit weird, okay. Yeah, and the last 2 years, like I said, financial problems at Standard. It was really difficult to play there. So he started off really well, but then last 2 years he had, I would say, an injury at the wrong time, failed to develop, failed to take that leader role, to grow in that role. But then again, it's really difficult to play at Standards. Yeah, I think both of them expected more, and I think it's good for him to leave the club now because I think he had enough of the club now. Not in a negative way, but sometimes you just have to move on. And this time was that come.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, what's his form been like over the last few seasons at Standard? Has he been playing well? Has he been playing poorly? Because, like I say, I see this reports that West Ham had a £12 million bid. Liverpool have been interested in him, and then Burnley were relegated, have come in and got him for 600, 500k. To me, it sounds like there's a drop off somewhere there. I'm just trying to work it out.
No, his form wasn't good the last 2 seasons, but I think nobody had a good form at Standard last 2 years. So that's in his defense. No, it's just like I said, he had really some trouble to develop, to really take that next step. Normally, when you get to a club like Standard, you have to stay there for like 2 years, and you have to move on to a bigger club. It's just the way things go. I think it's football nature. But he didn't make that step, so he kind of stayed at the same level. Didn't score a lot of goals. It was just a really hard time for him. I can really put my finger on why he had a rough time, but just the main reason I think was because the club was such a chaos.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, fair enough. Obviously, you know him well. You know his style of play pretty well and stuff, and how he plays. You said, all right, he might have been off form a little bit in the last couple of years, but do you think he can rekindle that form in a league like the Championship, or do you think it's going to take time, or do you think he can hit the ground running and start really well?
I think he will need some time, actually, but he's a player with a huge potential. At a certain point, he was in the under-21 of Belgium. Martinez was quite impressed by him. So at a certain point, he was certainly someone who could make that step to the national team. And back then, like 3 years ago, Belgium were at the top. So that says something. He has a huge potential. I think he needs some confidence. He needs to feel welcome. He needs to feel good in a group. I think Company, he bought him, so he's someone who will give him that. So I feel in a couple of months, couple of weeks, maybe, but we'll get there.
Yeah, that's interesting now, because I feel like it was a similar sort of thing with Maxwell Cornet. He probably needed to come in because his form had been poor recently. Where we were at Lyon, been playing out of position, and then we come in. The fans took to him. Fans loved him, still do. We love the fact that he's even just come back to training after we've been relegated. We thought he'd be off straight away. So I think it'd be a similar sort of thing because he's coming in a similar sort of mindset. I think the fans and obviously Company, like you say, he's come in. He's obviously put his faith in him by buying him. Just on the Company thing as well. I know I've mentioned it already, but how do you think that this is going to go for Burnley and Company? Do you think Company's going to do well? Because you've mentioned already he wasn't getting a lot of the stuff he wanted at Anderlecht. He wasn't being backed properly. I know they had financial troubles as well. I know you mentioned Standards, but I believe Anderlecht did as well. But it seems to be being backed at Burnley a little bit. All right, we've sold a few players as well before people start commenting, fire sale, all that sort of stuff, which isn't true in my opinion. But anyway, we'll move on to that. But we've been buying a lot of players as well for him, players that he wants. So it says to me like he is getting what he wants at Burnley. Do you think he can do well at Burnley?
I think so, but you have to give him time. I think the playing style he wants, like I said, the Pep style, that takes time, and you don't have the quality that Pep has. Nobody
has the quality Pep has.
No, it's true. But I think he bought a lot of young players as well, so that's a bit tricky too.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you give him time, he has such a big personality. Yeah,
Yeah.
he can deal with a lot of things. So yeah, he has a thick skin. So and he had the Anderlecht experience now, so maybe he can cope with it better. But yeah, you have to give him time. Otherwise, yeah, it will be really difficult. And
Yeah,
also,
I think we will do.
championship is
I
so
think,
hard. Yeah.
yeah, I think we will do. We're backing him quite a bit. All right, well, like I said, we've sold a few players. But bringing up that tells me that the board will give him time. Final one from me, obviously, Bastien as well. You say he's got potential. How far can he go? Is he a potential Premier League player in a few years? Even if we don't get promoted with him here, do you think he can go on to a Premier League club? Do you think he has that quality? Even though his form has been a little bit poor recently, do you think he has the quality in his locker to go to the next level in England?
If he can get to his level from like 2-3 years ago, then he can. I'm confident that this is a good step for him because he needed just a change of scenery. But I think the potential is there. I wouldn't say like a top 8 club maybe, but a Southampton or something like that. I think he has his place there when he's good.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Southampton could be getting relegated next season. We could be going up. So who knows? He might not need to move. But anyway, mate, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. It's a little bit later over there than it is here as well. As you can see, it's going dark there. I just want to quickly give everyone a shout so they can know where to find you on Twitter and know where to find your work at HLN and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just my name, Bob Faesen. You can type it in. You can find me. I think it's easier when you see it in writing than me saying it now. So
yeah. Well, I'll put a link to your Twitter and stuff. I'll put a link to your Twitter and
thank
stuff
you.
in the description. And of course, if you listen to this podcast on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from, you'll probably follow us on social media already. So just get over there. Try and find the post where I mentioned Bob, because I'll be tagging Bob in this podcast, of course I will. But thanks for coming on, Bob. Like I said, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on pretty late and squeezing me in for 20 minutes. And who knows, if we sign any more standard players, I've got you as a contact now. We'll get you back on the show.
Okay. Thank you.